Super Rugby Pacific 2022 is about to get underway, folks. How are you going to watch it? That's the one thing we are going to go through this video. Main new player is the old in-house streaming service for much of Europe, but we'll get to that in a second. Remember, the competition's getting underway this week. The first game, Moana Pacifica and the Blues, has been postponed due to COVID cases. Remember, the New Zealand teams are locked down in a bubble down in Queenstown because they're concerned about rising COVID numbers here in NZ. So the first few games in the New Zealand conference anyway are going to be played behind closed doors in Queenstown, no crowds. The Aussie games, I think their COVID situation is a bit more advanced than ours, so I think maybe a bit less restricted. But remember, the Force aren't going to be able to be based in Western Australia, so it's a bit of a disrupted season. There's no trans-Tasman travel at the moment, so it's not the ideal start to the competition. But at least we do have information on the majority of the places the games are going to be broadcast. If you want to check out where this information came from, link in the description to the SANZAAR website, which shows you how you can get it watched. But very quickly, most of the broadcasters are the same. Sky in New Zealand, pretty much all paid, live on demand, not that cheap, but they've got heaps of rugby on their service apart from the URC. They do usually show games free to air on Prime, but delayed. But if you want to watch live, you're going to be watching on Sky. Australia, they do put free-to-air games on 9, but usually it's Waratahs or Reds. I think that's just due to the fan base. At least that's what I've noticed. And then all the rest of the games are on Stan. Stan seems pretty good. They've got a heap of rugby as well. Price, I don't think, is too bad. And I know a lot of guys jump on there via the VPN because they've just got so much rugby and they don't seem to be so protective of that fact, unlike Sky. Fiji also got some free-to-air games on FBC, but I think only Fiji and Drua games. Good to see Fiji in the competition, and good to see they've got their local games, kind of like the Aussies, getting some local games free-to-air, which helps grow the engagement. Other games are going to be on Sky Pacific, which is paid. The Pacific Islands, so not just Samoa and Tonga, but also the likes of Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea, and so on. Digicel, so paid. South Africa, you guys know all about Supersport. They have all the rugby under the sun, as far as I'm aware. I think it's, as far as I'm aware, not the cheapest of services, but at least they have all the rugby. I'll be keen to see if you guys are still going to follow Super Rugby at all now that your teams aren't in it anymore. I would imagine a lot of fans are probably pretty checked out. If you do stay along, feel free to chuck your support behind my Blues. USA, it's on Flow Sports. If you ever want to get a Flow Sports subscription for you guys in the US, come back to this video and check the link in the description because they're an affiliate of the channel. I think they've got SANZAAR content for at least the next few years. That's what my understanding is. So the Rugby Championship, they had the autumn games, Super Rugby Curry Cup. It's on Flow Sports. It's live and on demand. I understand it's not like the cheapest service, so some guys kind of aren't that keen to subscribe. But if you want some Super Rugby, that's the place to go. So anyone who's interested. Canada TSN, I think that's pretty steady as she goes. Likewise, ESPN for South America. Also, Wow Wow seems to be the new rugby home for Japan. I'm not sure if that's new. That could just be me being out of touch. I know they're on the Six Nations content as well. Premier Sports for Southeast Asia also seems to be kind of the new normal. It was Rugby Pass for many years, but they have gotten out of the streaming game since Sky New Zealand took them over. So Premier Sports, Hong Kong, Thailand, Philippines, both Koreas apparently, including North Korea. So many parts of Asia, not Japan, not China, but many parts of Asia on a Premier Sports subscription. So all these ones are paid. France and much of French-speaking Europe, Monaco, French-speaking Switzerland. I don't know that you could isolate French-speaking Switzerland, or maybe it's just Switzerland on Canal Plus. But this new one for most of Europe and some other places around the world, like China, like India, Sri Lanka, Middle East, it's going to be on SANZAAR's own in-house streaming service. Now, this seems to be becoming a popular way to get your competition out there for places who can't either find or don't want to sell the rights cheaply to a local broadcaster. Like, I would have thought the way to grow the game, or at least, I don't know about growing the game, but at least getting more eyeballs on the game in some parts of the world would be to put it on something like, I know in the UK it'd be BT Sport or a Sky UK, something like that. But yeah, that seems to not be the case. I think Super Rugby Aotearoa last year was on Rugby Pass before they called the streaming thing quits. So yeah, Europe, most of Europe, as I said, UK, Ireland, pretty much the rest of Europe as far as I'm aware. Check that website, as I mentioned, for the full details. Are going to be on this service, sanzaarrugby.tv. And as far as I'm aware, remember, this is not kind of set in stone, but I believe they're going to show the Rugby Championship on this one as well. But it'll be a separate subscription. So to get the Super Rugby games on this service, it's £50 a year. It's like $49.99 or something like that. So £50 a year, which ain't that cheap, because I know you guys in the UK and other places have got to already subscribe to multiple paid services to watch your rugby, like BT Sport and Amazon for the Autumn Nations games and whatnot. So it's another subscription. It's not a full year. It's just like a season pass. So all the Super games will be on this service. But then I'm sure when the Rugby Championship rolls around, they'll be asking for some more dosh. So yeah, the URC also does their own in-house broadcasting. The Heineken Champions Cup also does in-house broadcasting. Remember, I'm sure they got this idea from like the NFL or the NHL or NBA. They've all got those like online passes, right? So that seems to be the way things are going. There's not a heck of a lot of free-to-air, but at least that is the official way to get it done. So yes, that's pretty much it. Also, I should say, if you think you know your Super Rugby, do jump onto the Super Brew pool, because I'm doing remarkably well. I'm first in the Six Nations for my own pool. I'm first in the Premiership. I'm like 12th for the URC. So I'm killing it so far in the old Super Brew this year. So if you think you know better than me, in Super Rugby I tend to do pretty poorly, do sign up to the Super Brew pool. That's free. So yes, I think that's pretty much it. That covers pretty much all the main broadcasters, and it should be everyone else is on here. But check out the website. I will link the website with all the broadcasters in the description. Also Flow Sports, if you want to sign up to them. If you ever need a VPN, that's down in the description. I use them a lot, but I don't think I would be using a VPN for this one, because from my initial little kind of test to even see if I could sign up, it pinged me on the VPN to know that I was there. I had to go kind of incognito. Must be like cookies tracking me or something like that. So yes, Stan seems the most VPN friendly, but yeah, that's just what I've heard from others. So yeah, that's your broadcasters for Super Rugby. Pretty much same stuff with this in-house broadcasting service, which Sansa seems to be going to use for Super Rugby and in all likelihood the Rugby Championship. So yes, there you go. You guys let me know your thoughts. Are you going to be signing up? Are you going to be paying attention? The competition, as I said, is having its disruptions with the Force not being based in Western Australia. The New Zealand team's all in a bubble. The first game postponed, so we'll see how it goes. Super Brew, if you guys reckon you know. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.